Two scientists walk into a bar. The first one asks, "Can I get some H2O?" The second one asks, "Can I get some H2O too?" That second one later died. You have to be careful of what you consume, especially if you're ordering hydrogen peroxide, which you really shouldn't be drinking that stuff. Or else you're gonna end up like that second scientist. Dead. Anyways, I digress. Today I will be talking about water contaminants, contaminated food, and the effects of contaminated water. So first, let's talk about water contaminants. According to University Wire, surface water is water that comes from things like streams, rivers, lakes. Hopefully there's a photo right here or on the screen of some sort. However, these sources of water are prone to being contaminated from the environment they're in, such as, for an example, agricultural runoff. Next, we have groundwater that is mentioned. Groundwater is water that is stored in an underground well called an aquifer, which is basically a well that is just made up of soil and rock in between. This groundwater is replenished through things like melting snow and precipitation. However, because this water is in the ground, it is more prone to being contaminated by chemicals, which can make the groundwater unsafe. Additionally, even after filtering our water, there still may be contaminants that are lingering around. And these contaminants would be things like radioactive waste. Next, let's talk about contaminated food. As stated by a local journalism initiative reporter, the food that we eat have the potential to become contaminated. Not only may wild animals contaminate our food that we eat, but the water that we use to water our food, our crops, also have the potential to contaminate them as well. There are factors that contribute to our food contamination, such as agricultural runoff. And that is where things like manure, cow's poop, may get into the water and contain harmful bacteria, which then spreads throughout that water. And then additionally, bacteria can easily spread from produce to produce, and it can linger in areas for a long time. So even if you have a fresh batch of produce coming in that is not contaminated whatsoever, that bacteria can spread onto that, and it makes it unsafe. So lastly, let's talk about the effects of contamination. Just last year, TCA Regional News mentioned something about naturally occurring algae that has decimated populations of aquatic species. This naturally occurring algae that's in the water can contaminate its way up the food chain, where when it's consumed in high concentrations, that can lead to serious things like death, which has happened to these aquatic animals. Not only are these aquatic animals are affected by this naturally occurring algae that is contaminating its way up the food chain, but it also affects us too, and our beloved families as well. And that is if and when we eat foods, something like shellfish, that have these high concentrations of toxins. And if we eat that, well, it may lead to death as well. So today I had discussed about water contamination, contaminated foods, and the effects of contamination. Although the leftover contaminants in your water may be negligible, there is still a possibility of harm from other contaminants. And that very water is used to water our vegetables and crops. We may not even know what we've consumed until it's too late. I hope that I have immensely expanded your knowledge and awareness about the unseen dangers of our water world. And remember, don't be like that second scientist. Make sure that you know what you're drinking. Drink smart water, okay? I mean, drink smartly. You don't have to drink smart water. I'm not advertising anything. All right, thank you.